Let's see, so we are in Key West. This parking space worked out okay. There are a lot of them here. And this is Orbx, Key West. Really is beautiful. That's something. Well done. So here we are. I do not even have a flight plan. I'm just sitting here all day today, kind of just pondering a bunch of things. New flight. We are going to be going from KEYW to KFLL, and no, we're not going to use KMCO. We are going to use I'll use KORL a little further, but I can't get too close because the weather's the determining factor there, I guess. What do we get for a flight plan? That's a low altitude one. And what is, let's see, so it wants us to arrive on runway 10, depart on runway 9. Okay, so that's good. It's a little close to Miami. Well, you know, I'm going to do it. I'm not online, so I'm not going to torquing anybody off and they could vector me. There was some ATC online a bit ago, and they disappeared. And I don't know. I've just kind of in a weird mood. Um, and I wanted to go for a flight. I've been mucking around with this and that and not really flying. Well, I did one in Cheyenne. Just still getting to know that airplane. Not not as proficient as I want to be. Not yet. So I got a flight plan, don't I? It's Friday. Here it's Friday. That's when you'll see this. Flight level 230, 39-minute flight. 994 pounds of fuel. We will take extra. 994 divided by 6.8. 146. I'm going to up that to 190. Okay. No chocks. And nothing covering the airplane. That's how I left it, I guess, last night, or the night before. Since we're getting fuel, we'll put the chocks on. I hope this thing starts okay. 85 in this tank. 85 in this tank. So a short flight and then I'll go make dinner. Yeah, I actually had this airplane do a hot start on me one time because I left the covers off all night one time, which I wasn't real good about putting them on. But that's what the dev explained to me. They have a random thing where actually an animal crawls up inside something and causes a problem. And it did. So we got that, so I can put the parking brake on and take the chocks off and close the door. So this is going to be my flight for now. I may do a second one, or I may just wait till tomorrow. I'm not sure. But yeah. Let's see. So Key West. KEYW. We're departing to the east. Airport. So we're going left. Down taxiway Alpha. That's all good. Everything's off. Good. The weather in Fort Lauderdale is pretty ugly. Not hugely ugly, but there's some thunderstorms in the area. As much as I dislike XPlane lightning sounds, menu, delete that while I'm waiting for something else to happen, and bring up the checklist. It gets old.
Aural warning, okay.
So, gear handle is down. Hey, look.
System test, okay.
I see something here. Let's see. Well, I'm not going to muck with it now. That's pretty good. Actually, that's better. Always mucking with things, always trying to make things a little bit better. Maybe this will help with my click spots too. Let's see, so where are we? This, that's all set. We're all set to go there. I guess I could go ahead and check some of these off. Strobes, BP. Auxiliary boost pump. Okay, so the area is clear. Timer 1002. Starter ignition, oil pressure, engine is coming up. I'm gonna let it get up there. And I'm gonna watch this thing. Light off, and that looks good. We should be fine. 30 by 30. No animals crawled inside my airplane. It's always a good day when that doesn't happen. All right, we've got cutoff. Yeah, so I took the Cheyenne up. I'm just trying to get used to that airplane. Trying to get maybe a little serious about it. And I sort of look at my flying as an ABC thing. I've got an A airplane, which is this one. Then I've got a B airplane, which would be, at the moment, it's the Cheyenne, and then a C airplane. And that's what I was having a big debate with myself about today, was what is going to be my because I sort of feel a change coming. You know, it didn't help my blasted click spots. All right. Come on. Good. All right, so check, check, check. Engine parameters. They look good. Electrical network, don't have to do. Throttle, engine parameters, aux BP, fuel switch. Generators checked, AB trims, oxygen supply is good. Turn oxygen on. Check display backup. And bleeds on, AC on. Temperature is warm, everything is on there. Check, 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 check. Standby instruments. Altimeter is 2986. 2986. Really? Two nine eight six. 2986, and I'm 60 feet underground. I have a sneaking suspicion. Yep. That will fix itself in a moment. I don't know why, but Active Sky keeps going back to custom. Oh, wait a second. I bet you I know why it went to custom weather mode. Okay, that was probably my fault. There we go. 20. It still says minus 20. 2986, 2986. That's about where it should be. 2990. Let's see what Active Sky says the altimeter is. Active Sky says it's 2989. I'll go with Active Sky. Oh, that's because I'm using bad sim weather. We'll go with that. Now let's see what happens. Tell me that's it. Two nine eight nine. Timer off. Runway heading is 093. Go up to 3000 for starting altitude. LFV, we need a flight plan. And I did a flight in the E1000 too. I've been farting around. That's probably what has me thinking. The heck? I don't know what this thing is thinking. This is what the weather looks like. So storms heading over this way, some coming over this way. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Weather at Fort Lauderdale is actually pretty good at the moment. 10 statute miles, 1,500, few at 1,500, 5,000 scattered, 5,500 broken, and then on up. And yeah. So we are going direct EYW, EYW, and then Duval 3 to Fort Lauderdale. That's the whole thing. Oh. It would help. KFLL. Now we'll do the proc. Enter. That's it. That's it. Let's do that. Okay, so this is on GPS mode. That's the runway heading. That's 3,000. We are all set there. Altimeter is set. Altitude is set. It's good enough. So ATC sounds. And that should do that. And ground. Towers 118.2.
Southwest 3160 ground, taxi to ramp number 4, come on.
And what's departure frequency? Well, it may be 124.025. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So that's that. Back to the checklist. LFE is 1 foot at KFLL. Altimeter setting, pitch, trim. De-ice panel is fine at the moment. Inertial separator on. Check, check, check. And then taxi lights. So LFE is set. This looks good. Stall and pitot heat. Parking brake, and we're still waiting for the inertial separator. So make sure the table is stowed, right? And return.
Delta 435 on Delta joining Fox Fox for ramp 1. Delta 435 ground taxi Fox to the ramp. Fox to the ramp, Delta 435.
Alright, inertial separator. Good. And park and brake is off.
Morning ground, Southwest 2825 on Delta joining Fox for ramp number 4.
Southwest 2825 ground taxi Fox to the ramp.
Fox to the ramp, Southwest 2825.
Yeah, I've just got it in my head. I want to get another plane. Sometimes it's nagging, and I spent a lot of time pondering it, and I've made zero decision. I've already got the King Air 350, the Airfoil Labs, and toying, maybe it'll be that one. I want an airplane that I could fly online when I do fly online.
2825, give way to Frontier at ramp 5.
Give way to Frontier, Southwest 2825.
And okay,
Frontier 1459 at hotel, you're following the obstruction, Boeing 757, Martyr Tower 1 out of point 1. Thank you, 1 will follow 75 Frontier 1479.
I should just wait till I get up to the end of the runway. Okay, so flaps down. Park and brake on. Okay, so checklist. Check, next. Check, check, check. DI system we'll do that in a minute. Flight controls are checked, trims are tracked. Strobe is on, CAS is good. Fuel is good. Flight instruments, GPS heading 3000. LFE is set, altimeter is set, and 85 knots, and the battery is charged. Return. Swap. Not swap. Swap. And 124.025.
American 2102, turn right at Hotel 6, taxi via Hotel to Papa, cross 25 right, and then ground point.
Here we go.
Hotel Papa, cross 25 right, ground point 75.
Let's see if anybody's on the way in. Nope. Okay, so park and brake off. Let's see, so taxi lights off, lights, icing, flaps are set, transponder out, and park and brake and toga.
Whiskey Alpha Heavy, you can turn right here, taxi via Hotel, hold short runway 25 right at Papa. Hotel, hold short to the right of Papa. 783 Mike Mike, RNAV Docker, wind 24013, right 25 right at Foxtrot, clear for takeoff. Okay, clear for takeoff, 25 right, RNAV Docker 783 Mike Mike.
It's actually cleared up here a little bit.
Tower Southwest 2726, visual 25 left. So 2726, tower point 737, 7 miles ahead, runway 25 left, clear to land. Clear to land, 25 left, Southwest 2726.
85. Positive rate.
Shuttle 1, Whiskey Alpha Heavy at Papa, cross 25 right, and ground point 75.
Flaps, yaw damper. There's a mighty big balloon out in this area.
783 Mike Mike, contact departure, take care.
We'll go 030. not sure I can do that here. See, there's that balloon. Oh, 3,200. Okay. Yeah, I really can't do it from there, so let me go to flight plan and activate leg. Not letting me activate the leg. And altitude, say 10,000. Won't let me activate that leg. So let's go. And let's put on heading mode and activate nav. What is that? A cloud or something? We're going up to 230. Pretty over there. Yeah, I know. I can shut the inertial separator off now. I wanted to get out of that moisture. And I can flitch right there, autopilot. Not a long flight, so I'll get some flight planning to do. Lights off. So there we go. Ah, what did I do that for? don't know what that is down there. Yeah. So we're going to be landing east, 10 left. We will see what the weather holds when we get there. We need to be 2,500 feet, 13 miles before the airport. Yeah, I was saying an A airplane, a B airplane, and a C airplane. I think that makes a certain amount of sense. I was thinking about some of the pilots that I knew, and also in terms of what I'm comfortable with myself. Everybody's different. Some people can fly 10 airplanes, and some people can fly one. You know, some people fly it and then they move on to something else. And, you know, part of me is a little bit doing that. But it's a good time to do that for me because the Cheyenne is not a bad weather airplane. It has no weather radar. You can't see a storm in X-plane, and you seldom have ATC to guide you around bad weather. So hence why I'm flying the TBM right now instead of the Cheyenne is because bad weather. So it factors into the equation. So I have to look for an airplane that can fly in bad weather, that I'd like to fly on bad sim sometimes, like this one, and that is capable of flying well. It's capable of handling bad weather, and you can navigate with it. You can rely on the navigation system. So a G1000 is always a good one. Yeah. 23,000 is right there. Get a little bit of a tailwind. So yeah, that's what's on my mind lately. So Deval 4, I better look at this star. Deval 4. Deval 4 just drops you off at Dolphin, which is the VOR just west of Miami. So it allows you to get down to 2,000 feet all the way back at Deval. I would assume that I would be vectored off of that to head up to Fort Lauderdale, probably around Famine. So I go here, close that, FLL. Guess it doesn't do you too much good if I'm looking at this and you can't see it. A bit hard to see. So at Duval, at Famine, so up here, I would probably get vectored off. But this whole leg is 2,000, I can get down to 2,000 feet. And then there's Fort Lauderdale right there. But I really don't, DHP, what is DHP? Oh, that's Dolphin. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so let's select the approach. This is a situation where I'd really like a vector. Do I want 10 left or 10 right? I forgot. I think I want left. I do want left. And Holland. Enter. I've been lazy about putting these in lately too. 260. Okay, so really back of the envelope is about the only help I'm going to get from VNAV. Go from here to here. So let's say 2,500 feet at Holland, which would be the same as at Dolphins, so we'll go with that. That'll at least give us an estimate. Okay, so that says we descend in 10 minutes. That gives us a ballpark of when to start down, and that's at 1,400 feet per minute. I'm thinking about doing a VNAV tutorial on this airplane. Well, I'm thinking about doing a VNAV tutorial. Not so much on this airplane. Doesn't really matter what airplane, you know, as long as it's I guess an E1000. There's no it really doesn't matter what airplane. 310 knots with a little tailwind. So yeah, I mean, it isn't, you know, the trouble is it's not that hard. VNAV isn't that difficult, but you can do the basics pretty well, but there's some things that'll trip you up. So I just have to get my mind I have to come up with a scenario where a basic scenario, and probably have to be several tutorials on VNAV, to be honest, because you run into different situations. Let's see, and you have to know how to handle, you know, like this one. Just, I mean, a couple of the gotchas here. I'm not flying to Dolphin. I'm flying to Holland. But I've looked at the distance visually, and it's almost the same thing. And I know I have to be at 2500 at Holland, so therefore I can just project 2500 down to Dolphin instead. And then when I get down here to Famine, I can vector myself over to Holland. So that one was not as hard as it would have looked. If you're using VATSIM, ironically, I know a lot of people are scared of using VATSIM. It's actually easier because in most cases, they will, you know, descend you, and so they'll get you down to where you need to be without even using VNAV. Like a lot of times you don't even use it. Though sometimes they'll throw you a curveball. So those are the things also that you can do with VNAV. VNAV can help you with those curveballs. Help you avoid having to do mental math, which is really essentially what VNAV is pretty much all about. I should have switched to 3 point. Swap. What frequency do we have here? Let's see, so 10.1 is set. I'm going to go on heading mode for just a moment. Select, go back, select CDI, and put in 096. Which is the final approach course. 096, and then back to CDI and back to nav. So now I'm ready for the approach however it happens. If I get vectored, I'm ready. If and I will have to do a vector of some kind to get out here. I can't just go direct from Dolphin over to there. Well, I could. I guess I could. You know, I could do a direct here to Holland, and that would take me on the approach. I just have to activate the approach, and then I would go direct to Holland, and then down. And let's look at these altitudes here real quick. Every time I do this, I go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing that. Oh yeah. So there's Holland. Holland says it doesn't have an altitude. Does Holland have an altitude? Yeah, I guess it's just 2,500. Peonin has 2,500. Sometimes these are wrong. Nove has 1800. So that's right, but this is the final approach fix. So blue altitudes are going to be respected. We will never make it to Dolphin. Blue altitudes will be respected by VNAV. White altitudes will not. And final approach fix altitudes will not. Anything inside of the intermediate fix, or really before the final approach fix, will be final approach fix, and after, this is purely advisory. At any altitude that's in white is advisory. So that's the simple answer. Let's have a look at our VNAV real quick. 4 minutes. So inside of 5 minutes, when this time gets below 5 minutes, you can click VNAV and dial your altitude down. So I'm going to dial this down to say 5,000. Because I'm nowhere near the airport, there's no reason not to. So it will only go to the higher of these two altitudes. This is your final VNAV altitude, but it will never go down there as long as this is above it. You have to take that lower, which is fine. So VNAV path is white. It'll turn green in a few minutes. This is kind of the equivalent of a VATSIM controller or ATC telling you descend at pilot's discretion. So you're letting VNAV decide what the discretion is. Okay, so I am going to do this. I'm going to do a flight plan HOLID. I'm going to not do that. I'm going to do a flight plan HOLID at the moment, and I'm going to do a direct enter. Okay, so that'll bork my VNAV probably. It says 4,500. But that's advisory. Well, it knows something I don't. There's nothing on the approach that says, oh, it's 4,500. Okay, so to turn off VNAV, because we're outside of 5 minutes. Cranking and banking. 32-degree turn there. People in the back are going, what the heck is going on up there? Alright. Okay, so now we're back within 5 minutes. I can hit V now. Gosh, that seems close. We will see. You know, I'm just gonna let it do its thing. I feel like I'm being burned by VNAV. This would be the third time in like 4 days, but they were never with this before. Wait, let me see something. That's time to bottom of descent. Oh, crap. I'm not gonna make that. Alright, so let's do a It's not even going to do this. If I do a VNAV direct, it's yeah, it's going to give me the finger. That was all right. So I'll go 4,000. I'll do a VS. I'm going to have to do a box. This was me screwing this up. I'll go down 1,700 feet per minute, and the power is already back. I'm going to have to do a box. I know I am. Look at that. I'm coming up. I'm at 21,000 feet. I'm supposed to be down at 4,000. I've got about 7 miles to go. Crap. Okay. What's the altimeter? Let's get that. Might beat this line of storms in. Altimeter's 29 or 88. I'm going to go with that 4,500. So we're going to go in heading mode right here. No point in turning in. I've gotten worse turns on VATSIM, believe it or not. Or worse altitude on VATSIM. I think my last flight on VATSIM, he had me really, really high. I had to get his attention. They're very good, but they do make mistakes. When you're new, you assume everything you do is your mistake. You know, but honestly, if you know the airplane, if you're comfortable flying the airplane, and you know some basic calculations, you can avoid that situation. And honestly, I was thinking that I should just go ahead and calculate this out by hand. And the rule of thumb there is, let's zoom in so I can see. No, blast. Come on. Okay. We went about a 5 to 7 mile downwind. Each of these little dots on here is 1 nautical mile. The big marks are 10, 10, and 10, so it's 30 miles. And we're in heading mode. We're getting there. So swapping over, I'm not sure why though. Swapping over to HOVID, I guess when I swapped over to HOVID, it switched from 2 minutes to top of descent to 5 minutes to bottom of descent. Hollet, not Hovet, Hollet. We're -7. There is icing in this area too. And the ceiling is at 15,000 over by the airport, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on the de-icing and the inertial separator. 9,000 to go, that's 27 miles. So you multiply the difference in altitude, which is between here and how low you're going. It's 9,000 feet. Multiply times 3, it's 27 miles. So that looks to me to be about 10 miles. Thank you. So we'll go a couple more miles because we will kind of square it off. You don't worry about these boxes when you're IFR. Approach takes care of those for you. That's what is that? That's an alert area, so that's all. It's not restricted. Good enough. And we better keep that turn coming. We can arm the, we can CDI and arm the approach. And there's the glide slope. Is that the glide slope? ILH, what is that? ILHI, that's right. So what am I missing? One 9.3. Swap that. Well, that's tower. Approach is 133.775. Icing is on. Everything but the light. Inertial separator's on. Lights are on. Let's put NextRad on. I'd be surprised if I don't see any bad weather out here. Does that try to take that long? Okay, we're coming up at 4,500. We're on the localizer. The other thing is all these little beeps and everything that, you know, and voices that you hear in an airplane, besides the one that says you're going to die, is they're reminding you typically to do something. I mean, sure, you get 1,000 feet and then 500. That's a nice little, you know, warning. Get ready to land, but it's the intent is more than that. The intent is to tell you 500 feet, good time to check your landing gear and your flaps and your airspeed and all those things. So our airspeed is down. We can go ahead and get a notch of flaps out and set our power. You can see the ground. I'm curious. I shouldn't be screwing around with this, but I've got this map here. I honestly think that's ground clutter. I think this is the coast. It's 20 miles ahead, this line. Green. We'll speed back up in a second. Oh, the flap speed, the final flap speed is 128. If approach asks me for best speed on final, I might bump this up, give them like 150 or something like that. But I've got to be down to 128 by 1,000 feet. Inertial separators on, gears down, first notch of flaps is down. I don't think there's anything here to really of any interest. Off. At Nove, I'll take over. So yeah, here I am. I'm going to give tutorials on VNav, and I've just demonstrated one way to screw up VNav. There are more ways to screw it up than that, though. When in doubt, do the manual calculation. That's all I got to say. Someday we are going to have real turbulence in this sim. Once they get a real API for thermals, we should have it. So I can kill my icing. Rock steady. Don't pause. Don't pause. Final notch of flaps. That's 28 power. Gear is down, flaps are down. VREF plus 8.
Minimum.
Landing. Come on. Visual. Sorry, JetBlue.
Airspeed.
Didn't even feel it. Back on the mainland. JetBlue is going to go right through us. Here we go. Here, I'll move over so you can go around me on the left. That's so much. Oh, I'm getting some stutters here. Some real stutters. I can't say really too much why yet. Let's see, is this our taxiway? No. I believe it's, I believe I should have had my chart out. Really crappy frame rate right here. Fort Lauderdale's pretty, but it needs some work. Nope. Next taxiway, it's Echo. Flaps are up. Set the strobes off. Landing light off. Pitot heat off. Lights. Icing. Flaps. Transponder. That's us right over there. This is the new Fort Lauderdale by Digital Design, and I truly, they've made 2 airports, and I think they're based on a pretty decent developer for Prepare 3D. I think they take their airports and convert them over. I'm trying to remember which developer it is. And the problem is they're not very efficient yet. See that? So probably have to I might be able to reduce some of the textures, which I think is what was causing some of the stuttering out on final. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm getting stutters all over the place. At least it wasn't bad when I was flying. That's all I got to say. Okay, we'll stop here. Park and brake on. Timer started. Checklist. Enter. Check, 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 check. Radar's off. Transponder. Standby. Strobe is off. Taxi light off. Trims. Check, 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 check. Bleeds off. AC off. Check, check, check. Taxi light is off. AP trims. And we wait. Just a bit. So yeah, what's the next airplane? I know here's the Falcon coming out, and eventually, probably later this year, the Challenger is coming out. I don't know of any other airplanes. Well, there's an SR-22 coming out, but I don't want to fly that on VATSIM. I might get it, but I don't think I'll fly it on VATSIM. Alright. Inertial separator. Lights. Mission. It's already off. Oxygen off. Check the oxygen, 1631, and that's that. So at least we can go out and look at this nice airport. Noisy. Sounds like a busy airport. It's pretty. But I bet you if I cut these textures down to 2K instead of 4K that we'll see better. It's pretty. On the other hand, there's always Vulcan, right? There's always Vulcan. So, well, if you found this video and you liked it, if you wouldn't mind, hit the up button and the like button. And leave any comments. I read them. I appreciate you guys watching. And I think I'll go watch another YouTube video myself. I wonder if anybody's on. Take a look. It's Friday, you know, everybody getting off work. Avio Man was on earlier today. And XPlane 1972 is going to be on at 5:30, so in 15 minutes. 320 Sim Pilot was on. That's it so far, I think.